Welcome to episode 7, Drowning Horses, story number 6, school names. The premise of Drowning Horses is that you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. And leaders and policymakers unintentionally do harm by forcing certain policies, practices, and procedures on our horses, which in these scenarios are students and sometimes staff. The question in this episode is, why did Andre Marcel of WDKX trust the Rochester City School District with his family's name? That's a rhetorical question. In order to think about the question, though, you need to understand why some school names have been changing. Some of that's driven by New York State's receivership law or Commissioner's Regulation 100.19. For time's sake, I'm going to give a very simplistic view of this terribly tangled web of policy. The gist of the law is that if students don't pass high stakes exams, then school staff and the district must jump through a myriad of almost impossible criteria to restructure or close the school. If they fail to meet these moving goalposts, then the state or some other entity can come and take over the school, aka put it under receivership. Once leaders in state ed decided that everyone must take and pass Regents exams, many of our students struggle for a number of reasons. But this struggle gave a permission structure for calling the schools and everyone involved with them failures. Even when schools have met their receivership goals, state ed officials have seemed unwilling to set them free from the threat and stigma of receivership. You also need to know that state ed identifies each school with a basic educational data system or BEDS code. One way to get through the penalties of CR 100.19 is to close the BEDS code of the failing school and get a new BEDS code under a new name. Last year, when the names changed, I cringed when I heard that one of the schools would be named after the founder of the only Black radio station in our area, WDKX. Not because the Langstons don't deserve to have a school named after them, but because I know our school district has a history of drowning horses when the names of schools are changed. Too many children attend schools that their parents went to, but under different names and different configurations, so there's little historic connection that children can build on. Andrew and Gloria Langston brought a radio station, WDKX, to life against a backdrop of Northern racism. A station named after Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King, and Malcolm X. I cringe when Andre Marcel allowed the RCSD to use the legacy of his family's name because I am DKX. I expect the name of this family will be sullied in the same way that the legacy of Dr. Walter Cooper was tarnished temporarily when the school that was his namesake was closed. Already, 1 year after the renaming ceremony, school board is already considering relocating Andrew Langston to a different building on the opposite side of town, and they're facing staff cuts. Drowning horses, people. Drowning horses.